Welcome back to Study 101 Uganda. Don't forget to subscribe if you just shared this with a friend. If it is a friend who notified you, you can go to Study 101 on your YouTube, Study 101 Uganda. Then you subscribe. Feel free to like the videos. You can check on all those videos that you probably missed in the past. Right now we are going to look at the skin. We're going to look at the skin. We're going to look at the internal structure of the skin. We shall look at the function of the basic parts of the skin. The function of the basic parts of the skin. We shall look at the uses of the skin. We shall look at the disorders of the skin, diseases of the skin, the good health habits of the skin, and the bad health habits of the skin. Don't forget to stay safe from corona. Keep indoors. So we are going to start on the skin. For those people that we sent notes to, I hope you're seated with your notes so that you can cross-check what I'm teaching with your notes. So this is the skin. The skin is the largest external body organ. The skin is also is a body organ, and it is the largest external body organ that covers most parts of your body. So the skin is an organ. It is also an excretory organ. What does the skin excrete? The skin excretes a product called sweat. The components of sweat are lactic acid, excess water, and excess solids. So let's look at the skin. The skin has got two major parts. The two major parts are epidermis and the dermis. We have got the epidermis and the dermis. Epi means outer. So the outer part of your skin is called epidermis, and then the inner part is called the dermis. The epidermis has got three layers. The epidermis in itself has three layers. It comprises three layers, which I've shown as 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. I've tried to shade them. So the innermost part of the epidermis is the one I've colored, and the one I've shaded with that black, for reasons that I will give later. One is called the conified layer. Layer 1, the outermost layer of the epidermis, is called the conified layer. The middle one, which is 2, is called the granular layer, and the third one is called the Malpighian layer. Spellings are very important when it gets to this. Conified layer, granular layer, and Malpighian layer. Malpighian layer. The conified layer, I'm beginning by talking about the conified layer. The conified layer is made of dead cells which give it that tough outer covering. So it's a tough outer covering made of dead cells. Someone might want to ask you, how is the conified layer adapted to its function? What is its function? It gives the body protection. Protection from a lot of things. Protection from germ invasion, protection from scratches or damage. So how is it adapted to protecting us from damage? It's made of dead cells which give it which make it tough. Then the middle layer, the second one, is called the granular layer, which is made of living cells. The granular layer is made of living cells, and these living cells are the cells that divide actively to form the conified layer. When they die, they form the conified layer. Of course, the conified layer is hard and tough. Then the Malpighian layer. Malpighian layer. Malpighian layer is also made of living cells that form the new epidermis. It is made of living cells that form the new epidermis. But one special thing we need to know about the Malpighian layer is that it contains a pigment. It contains a coloration that determines skin color. This coloration is called melanin. Melanin determines the color of our skins and the color of our hair and the iris. So, when they ask you what name is given to the pigment that determines skin color, it's called melanin. But then, when they ask us the importance of melanin, we do not just say that to determine skin color. Melanin acts as a screen to protect us from ultraviolet radiations from the sun. This melanin, this dark coloring, it acts as a screen to safeguard us from ultraviolet radiations from the sun. Melanin protects us from ultraviolet radiations from the sun. Ultraviolet radiations from the sun. That is the epidermis. Now we move to the dermis. The dermis is the innermost part of the skin, the innermost layer of the skin. And in the dermis, there are lots of parts that I've highlighted here. I've highlighted them using numbers. We are going to begin with the sweat gland. 6, we have sweat gland. This is a sweat duct, and this is a pore. This hole that pours out the sweat is called a pore. That hole through which the sweat passes to get to outside the skin is called a pore. We have a sweat gland and a sweat duct. Let me discuss their functions. The sweat gland produces sweat. Then the sweat duct is the passage of sweat from the sweat gland to the pore. It passes out sweat from the sweat gland to the pore. Then let's look at the hair follicle. Hair follicle, which is given number 7, that pit in which the hair grows is called a hair follicle. And then we have a hair which comes from the dermis to out of the body. That is a hair. So the hair follicle is the pit in which the hair grows, and the hairs, what is the function of the hairs? The hairs help in regulating body temperature. We shall see details on how they regulate body temperatures later in this segment. Then we have got number 9 here. It's called sebaceous gland, shown as 9, sebaceous gland. The spellings are very important. Sebaceous gland secretes, or it produces, some oily substance called sebum. Sebum helps to keep the skin soft and supple. That oily substance called sebum, the spelling is here. It helps to keep the skin soft and supple. Supple means the skin should be able to stretch or bend without breaking or cracking. Then we have got what they call erector muscle. Erector muscle as number 10. Erector muscle. There's this muscle here which helps to raise the hairs. It contracts to raise the hair and it relaxes for the hairs to fall flat on the skin. So 10 is called erector muscle. The spelling is very important. Then 11, we have got nerve endings. We have got nerve endings. Your skin has got millions and millions of nerve endings underneath. And those we have different nerve endings for different stimuli. For example, we have nerve endings for pain, we have nerve endings for temperature, touch, air pressure, etc. For our level, we are not supposed to go into the details of their names, but the nerve endings are there to detect pain, touch, temperature, and air pressure. Then the skin has got blood capillaries, which are denoted using number 12. It has got blood capillaries that are running underneath. What is the function of the blood capillaries? The blood capillaries supply the skin with blood, which is containing food and oxygen, so that respiration can take place in your skin. So the nerve endings supply the skin with blood containing food and oxygen. Finally, we have got subcutaneous fat, which is denoted by these round blue circles. Subcutaneous fat. This is a storage organ This is a storage site for fats, and the fats are very useful because they help to insulate the body. This subcutaneous fat helps to insulate the body. It helps to keep us warm. Sometimes the fat is also used to produce energy. So subcutaneous fat helps in insulating the body. So basically, those are the functions of the different parts of the skin for our level. The next bit is we need to discuss the uses of the skin. The first use is the skin protects our body from a lot of things, protects our body from germ invasion, from damage and the rest. So it offers protection to the body. The second issue is the skin is a sense organ for touch. The third one is your skin, it is an excretory product. It excretes excess water and excess salts. So it is an excretory organ. The fourth one is your skin manufactures vitamin D. Your skin manufactures vitamin D with the help of sunshine. The fifth one is your skin is a storage organ. It is a storage organ for these fats. And probably the sixth one is the skin regulates body temperature. Your skin regulates body temperature. How does your skin regulate body temperature? It regulates, since we are mammals, we maintain a constant body temperature. In case our temperature drops, the skin has to do something to try and regulate it to the 37 degrees centigrade. 37 degrees centigrade. And in case it rises higher than this, your skin does something to lower it. So we are going to discuss, still in this segment, we are going to discuss what does your skin do to regulate the temperatures on a hot day and on a cold day, or in hot weather and cold weather. We are beginning with when it is hot. When it is hot, we are going to discuss 3 things that your skin does when it is hot. The first thing is you sweat. You could call it sweating. The first thing is sweating. Sweating is very useful to the body because not only is it a passage for those excretory products like excess water, excess salts, lactic acid, but also it helps to cool the body. So when it is hot, we expect it to sweat. Then 2, there's what we call vasodilation. Vasodilation. The blood vessels that are beneath the skin widen so that they can increase the flow of blood close to the surface of the skin in order for some heat to be lost by either convection and radiation. That is the second one, vasodilation. Vaso is here. To dilate means to widen. Vasodilation. Vasodilation. The blood vessels dilate, they widen so that more blood can flow close to the surface of the skin in order to enhance heat loss by convection and radiation. And the third thing the skin does on a hot day, the hairs fall on the skin. The hairs fall flat on the skin. Why would the hairs fall flat on the skin? They fall flat on the skin to enable cool air to blow off any excess heat. To allow cool air so that the cool air can blow off any heat that is close to the surface of your body. Then on a cold day, what happens on a cold day? The first thing is shivering. Shivering, your skin shivers. People who have swum, you know this. After you're out of the swimming pool, you find yourself shivering. So the skin is causing that to regulate your body temperature. It is causing contraction of those muscles so that it can generate some heat for you, so that you can become warm. The second one is vasoconstriction. Vasoconstriction, which is the opposite of vasodilation, but now vasoconstriction. I hope most of us can spell that word. To constrict means to become narrower. The blood vessels become narrower so that they can reduce the flow of blood close to the surface of the skin. They are trying to hide the blood away from the skin so that the little heat you have in you is not lost. That's called vasoconstriction. That's why some people, especially the skinny ones like me, you find that on a hot day, our blood vessels are really showing because they are trying to allow more blood to flow close to the surface of the skin. And on a very cold day, they bury themselves in the skin. They are trying to hide the blood away from the surface of the skin. And then on a cold day, the third thing that happens in cold weather is the hairs stand upright on the skin. The hairs stand upright, or the hairs stand erect on the skin. Why do they do that? They do that so that they can trap a layer of warm air close to the surface of your skin. That is why most people from the cold regions have got plenty of hairs. Hairs are insulators of heat, or they are poor conductors of heat. So the people with plenty of hairs, those hairs are there to ensure that there's a layer of heat that is trapped close to the surface of the skin so that heat is not lost. That is also what happens on a cold day. So briefly, those are 6 uses of the skin. Let's go through the disorders of the skin without details. The disorders of the skin, we have got albinism. Albinism is a skin disorder where one lacks melanin. Albinism, and people who lack melanin are called albinos. Then we have got another disorder called cones. Cones, if not all, many people have got cones, especially on their feet. The ones on the feet are caused by wearing tight-fitting shoes. The ones elsewhere on the body, any body part where you're exposing the skin to excess pressure and friction will develop a cone. I've seen some people who have cones on the fingers because of holding the writing material badly. So cones, spelling of cones, cones like maize, corns. Other disorders of the skin, we have got vitiligo, where some people lose melanin in patches of their body, causing the skin to become white. It's called vitiligo. Vitiligo. Then we have got burns and scalds. We have cuts and wounds. We have got pimples, dandruff, and the others. All those are disorders of the skin. Let's look at the diseases of the skin. The diseases of the skin have got their details, which I'm not going to discuss right now. I'm just going to mention these diseases. You have to look up the details from your textbooks. Diseases of the skin, I'm beginning with fungal diseases. Fungal diseases, we have got athlete's foot and ringworm. Bacterial diseases, I'm giving 2 bacterial diseases. We have got leprosy and impetigo. We have got leprosy and most people read it as impetigo. Impetigo. Impetigo and leprosy are bacterial diseases. Then we have a disease called scabies. Scabies is caused by itch mites. It's a parasitic disease caused by itch mites. Ringworm and athlete's foot are also parasitic diseases, because a question can come, identify the parasitic skin diseases. Then viral disease, we have got chickenpox and German measles. Other diseases include dermatitis, inflammation of the skin, atopic dermatitis, and other diseases. Briefly, the diseases: ringworm, athlete's foot, scabies, impetigo, leprosy. There's also a disease called scurvy. Scurvy is a skin disease that is caused by lack of enough vitamin C. So the question can come, identify one non-communicable disease of the skin. The best response is scurvy. Then going through the bad health habits of the skin very fast. Bad health habits of the skin. Number 1, bleaching the skin. Bad health habits prevent the skin from functioning well. Number 1, bleaching the skin. 2, applying makeup. Makeup is not good for your skin. 3, body tattooing. 4, skin piercing. Skin piercing, all those are bad habits for the skin. And maybe 5, failure to bathe. How can we maintain the skin in its proper working condition? How can we maintain our skin? By observing the good habits. Which ones are the good habits for the skin? Number 1, having a balanced diet. Why a balanced diet? Because a balanced diet helps to build all this and repair all these tissues and cells. That's why a balanced diet is important. Then 2, regular physical body exercises. Regular body exercises which enable us to sweat. The exercises enable us to sweat, hence the skin will be doing its work. We shall be enhancing the skin to do its work. And it will help to remove those wastes that clog into the skin. The third good health habit for the skin is bathing at least twice a day. Bathing at least 2 times a day. And the other good health habits, like don't apply makeup and those other ones. But basically, having a balanced diet, regular body exercises, and bathing at least twice a day. Thank you for watching this video.